Study section 8. Fertilization and development of the fertilization ovum. Introduction. When you take two maize seeds and plant them on the ground, if they are given the same nutrients and the same water, but at the end of the planting season, one grew and bear fruit, but the other grew but did not bear any fruit. Therefore, we can say that the one that bear fruit is fertile, while the one that did not bear fruit is not fertile. Therefore, in this study section, you will be learning about fertilization, which is the fusion of the ovum and the spermatozoon, and early development of the fertilized ovum. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study section, you will be able to 1. Describe the process of fertilization. 2. Analyze how sex is determined. 3. Explain the development of the fertilized ovum. Meaning of fertilization. Following ovulation, the ovum is wafted along by the cilia and by the peristaltic muscular contraction of the tube. The cervix, under the influence of the estrogen, secretes mucus that attracts the spermatozoa. At intercourse, about 300 million sperm are deposited into the posterior formix of the vagina. Some survive to propel themselves towards the uterine tubes, while the others are destroyed. Fertilization is the process of combining the male gametes or sperm with the female gametes or ovums. The product of fertilization is a cell called a zygote. The sperm finally become mature and capable of releasing the enzyme hyaluronidase, which allows penetration of the zonal pellucida, and the cell membrane surrounds the ovum. Only one spermatozoon will enter the ovum. After this, the membrane is sealed to prevent entry to any further sperm, and the nucleus of the two cells fuse. The sperm and the ovum each contribute 23 pairs of chromosomes to make a total of 46, of which 2 are sex chromosomes. The sperm and ovum are known as the male and female gametes. The fertilized ovum as the zygotes. A diagram showing the Y chromosomes. Sex determinations in mammals. Sex determination in mammals. How do you know if a child will be male or female when they are barely conceived? This is what you'll be learning about in this section. In placental mammals, the presence of a Y chromosome determines sex. Normally, cells from females contain 2 X chromosomes, and cells from males contain an X and a Y chromosome. Occasionally, individuals are born with sex chromosome and a plurality, and the sex of these individuals is always determined by the absence or prior of a Y chromosome. Thus, individuals with 47 XXY and 47 XYY karyotypes are males, while individuals with 45.X and 47.XXX karyotypes are females. Humans are able to tolerate supernumerary numbers of sex chromosomes because of X inactivation and the fact that the human Y chromosome is quite gene poor. Although the role of the Y chromosome in mammalian sex determination has been known since the early 20th century, it was not until 1959 that scientists were able to identify the region of the Y chromosome that controlled this process. McLaurin, 1991. Later, researcher David C. Page analyzed the chromosomes of sex-reversed XX men, rare individuals who look like men but have two X chromosomes instead of one X. Take 2. Later, researcher David C. Page analyzed the chromosomes of sex-reversed XX men, rare individuals who look like men but have two X chromosomes instead of one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, using DNA hybridization with probes corresponding to different regions of the Y chromosome. Page discovered that sex-reversed males and genes from a 140 kilobase region on the short arm of the Y chromosome in figure 8.1. Presumably, this region has been transferred to the S chromosome during a translocation. Page et al., 1985. Subsequent experiments narrowed down this region. McLaurin, 1991, and found that one gene, the sex-determining region of the Y, or SRY, was the master regulator of sex determination. The presence of just this region from the Y chromosome is thus sufficient to cause male development. Koopman et al., 1991. In human embryos, the SRY gene encodes a unique transcription factor that activates a text-forming pathway at about week 7 of development. Before this time, the embryonic gonad is indifferent, meaning that it is capable of developing into either a testis or an ovary. Figure 2. Likewise, the early embryo has two systems of dots, Wolfram's and Mullerian dots, which are capable of developing into the male and female reproductive tracts, respectively. Once the SRY gene product stimulates the indifferent gonad to develop into a testis, the testis begin producing two hormones, testosterone and anti-Mullerian hormone, or AMH. Testosterone and one of its derivatives, dihydrotestosterone, induce formation of other organs in the male reproductive system, while AMH causes the degeneration of the Mullerian dots. In females who do not contain the SRY protein, the ovary forming pathway is activated by different sets of proteins. Diagram. Development of the fertilized ovum. After fertilization, cell division occurs and the fertilized ovum continue to divide until a cluster of cells known as the morula is formed. Next, a fluid-filled cavity or blastocell appears in the morula, which now becomes the blastocyte. Outside the blastocyte, there is a single layer of cells known as the trophoblast, while the remaining cells form the inner cell mass. The trophoblast will form the placenta and chorion, while the inner cell mass will become the fetus and the amnions. The decidua. This is the name given to the endometrium during pregnancy. Increased secretion of estrogen causes the endometrium to grow to 4 times in non-pregnancy thickness. The corpus luteum also produces progesterone, which stimulates the secretory activity of the endometrial glands and increases the size of the blood vessels. 3 layers are found in the decidua, which are the basal layer, functional layer, and the compact layer. Diagram showing the structure of the decidua. The basal layer stroke decidual basalis lies immediately above the myometrium if remains unchanged in itself, but regenerates the new endometrium during the puerperium. The functional layer or decidual capsularis. It consists of tortuous glands which are enriched in secretions. It provides a secure anchorage for the placenta and allows it access to nutrition and oxygen. But as soon as the baby is born, separation can occur. The trophoblast makes the nutrients in the material blood accessible to the developing fetus. The trophoblast. The trophoblastic cells differentiate into layers. The outer, the centrophoblast. Syncytium, the inner cytophoblast, and below this a layer of mesoderm or primitive mesenteric or primitive mesenchyme. The compact layer or decidual parietallis. It forms the surface of the decidual and is composed of closely packed stroma cells and the necks of the glands. The decidual underneath the blastocyst is termed the basal decidual. That which covers it is the capsular decidual, and the remainder is called the parietal decidual. The capsular decidual meets and fuses with the parietal decidual. The cyclotrophoblast is a single layer of cells which produces a hormone known as human chorionic gonadotrophin HCG. This makes the corpus luteum to continue to produce estrogen and the production of FSH. A ectoderm mainly forms the skin and nervous system. The mesoderm consists of loose connective tissue. There is similar tissue in the inner cell mass, and the two are continuous at the point where they join in the body stalk. The inner cell mass, while the trophoblast is developing into the placenta, the inner cell mass is forming the fetus itself. The cells differentiate into 3 layers, each of which will form particular parts of the fetus. The mesoderm forms bones and muscles, and also the heart and blood vessels, including those which are in the placenta. The amniotic cavity lies on the side of the ectoderm. The cavity, which is filled with fluid, gradually enlarges and folds around the embryo to enclose it. The amnion forms from its lining. The yolk sac lies on the side of the endoderm and provides nourishment for the embryo until the trophoblast is sufficiently developed to take over. The embryo. This name is applied to the developing offspring after implantation and until 8 weeks after conception. During the embryonic period, all the organs and systems of the body are laid down in rudimentary form so that at its completion they are simply to go and mature for a further 7 months. The conceptus is known as a fetus during the time. Study section summary. In this study section, you have learned that 1. Fertilization is the process of combining the male gamete or sperm with the female gamete or ovum. The product of fertilization is a cell called a zygote. 2. Fertilize and development of the fertilized ovum. End of study section 8. Thank you for listening.